welcome to hopefully the last video from this third 9 weeks benchmark. We're going to hit RP3. There's 3 problems in it, 57, 67, 71. So let's take a look at number 57. A baker uses a recipe that requires 1.5 cups of milk to make a batch of 12 cookies. At that rate, how many gallons of milk are required to make 10 batches of cookies? Okay, so this has a couple things going on. First, we have 1.5 cups of milk that he's using for one batch of 12 cookies. We need to know how many gallons he needs to make 10 batches of cookies. It doesn't matter if there's 12 in there, we don't need that piece. I'm just looking for the batches. 1 batch to 10 batch. 1.5 times 10, well, let's see, 1.5, if I divide 1 divided by 2, that's 0.5, that's 1.5. That's just turning a fraction into a decimal. I keep the whole part of it, and the fraction part I say, what's the top divided by the bottom? And I put that decimal part after this guy, which is basically adding it to 1. So 1.5, and I want to make 10 batches of cookies. That's 15 cups. Alright, so I need 15 cups of milk to make 10 batches of cookies. 15 is not an option because it's asking me about gallons. 1 gallon is 16 cups. I need to buy a gallon of milk. But how much of that gallon am I going to use up? 15 cups is less than 16. 15 cups out of the 16 in 1 gallon. I can't simplify it. It's going to be B. And that's that. Let's take a look at number 67. Still this page. Number 67. No, it's not. 67 is the next page. I didn't write the number down. Okay. 67 is a ratios problem. And a ratio is slightly different than a rate. It says the ratio of adults to children is 5:3. That means for every 5 adults, there's going to be 3 children. So if there were 10 adults, there'd be 6 children, and so on and so forth. You can always make yourself a list, adults, children, and scale it up like this. If I have 5 adults and 3 children, what if I double that? What if I have another group of 5 and 3? That makes 10 and 6. Add another group of 5 and 3, and you get 15 and 9, and so on and so on. If there are 120 people total, how many are children? Well, let's take a look real quick at my totals. If I just had one group, I'd have 8. If I had 2 groups, I'd have 16. If I had 3 groups, I'd have 24. What do you notice? If I keep these ratios the same, if I add this much and this much each time, I'm going to be adding 8 total people each time. So I got to go in and figure out how many groups of 8 there are in 120 people total. It goes into 120 15 times. So I got 15 groups. If I continue this list, the 15th one down will be the one that adds up to 120. So I have 15 sets of 5 adults and 3 children. If 3 is the children, I have 15 sets of 3 children, and that'll tell me how many children I've got. 15 sets of 3 is 15 sets of 3. I calculated. Look, I didn't type the 1. I had 5 times 3, 45. And I should know that, but my brain's getting slow. I've been doing this for too long. 45. Boom. 71's the only problem I don't think I've hit yet. Let me find it. There it is. The 3 out of every 5 people who bought a new vehicle last year bought a 4-wheel drive. If 2,100 people purchased a vehicle, how many vehicles did not have 4-wheel drive? So there's 5 people, and 3 of them did buy 4-wheel drive. If 3 of my people bought a 4-wheel drive, how many people out of those 5 did not? Oh, 2. So 2/5 of people did not buy a 4-wheel drive. I have to find what 2/5 of 2,100 is. I can think of it this way. I can think, well, 2/5 equals what out of 2100? If I scale 5 up, 2100 divided by 5, go to 420. So 5 times 420 gives me 2100. 2 times 420 gives me 840. And that's that. If you think about this, I've got to find out what 2/5 of 2100 is. If I have a fraction times a whole number, just multiply the whole number by the numerator and divide what you get by the denominator. So 2100 times 2 is 4200. 4200 divided by 5 is 840. Okay. If anyone has any specific questions or if I went over something too fast, let me know. I'll try to help you out later on this weekend. Bye-bye.